Hey y'all, welcome back to Rollin' Pin Recipes. Today we are going to make some English muffins. Got a cup of water here, warm about 100 degrees, and I just put 2¼ teaspoons of active dry yeast in there. We're gonna mix this up and let this activate for 5 to 10 minutes. Try to get all those little granules wet. Just gonna set it in the microwave because it's warm in there. Here I've got a cup of warm milk. I am going to add 2 tablespoons of sugar, white sugar. Just going to try to get this yeast off. 2 tablespoons is quite a bit. 2 tablespoons of white sugar. We're just going to let that dissolve. I've never made English muffins before. I always have wanted to. I love a breakfast sandwich, and my family was craving one. So we're going to give it a shot and see how it goes. I'm using a ton of bowls today, but that's what happens when you're cooking. I've got a 1/4 cup of butter here. I'm going to melt this in the microwave also. First, we need to take our yeast out, and it looks like it's already getting quite active. Perfect. Alright y'all, I've got my flour here. My yeast looks pretty good and already activated. I keep mine in the freezer so it stays good for a long time. We're going to put 3 cups of AP flour, all purpose, right into the mixer. Fill it and then give it a shake. 2, 3. So first time I'm making this recipe and English muffins, I'm going to put the water and yeast into the milk and sugar, and we're going to combine this and pour it into our flour. 3 cups of flour. I'm going to put I thought I left my dough hook in the bottom of there and that everything was going to be all over the dough hook. That would have been fun. Raise her up. I'm going to turn it on and slowly pour in the melted butter. Kind of slow. Alright y'all, they want me to do it till smooth. We're just gonna do that. Add in 3 more cups of AP flour. We just got a new oven, if you haven't seen the video, and I used to have the counter that went over our old stove. Y'all, I think that was 3. And now, while we have yet to get our situation for the stove, this is basically my counter space, the little table, and a little bit next to the sink, but this is what we're working with, so no big deal. I need a teaspoon of salt. I usually just eyeball that. Make sure you spill some, so it's a pretty nice little notch in there. That might be enough, and we're gonna mix that up. It just builds up next to the top of the hook, so I'm just gonna scooch it down and see if we can still knead it till it forms a smooth ball. It's a lot of flour. Alright y'all, we're gonna call that good. It's a beautiful dough, and we will cover it and let it rest, rise, and double, which should take about an hour. Just kind of squeezing it together a little bit so I can form a ball. I don't have counter right here right now, so I'm just going to do this. Hopefully the mixer did the hard work. Use these appliances, y'all. That's what they're there for. Alright, I'm not gonna grease this bowl. Set it in there. Hopefully keep a mental note of the size, and it should fill it up pretty good when it's doubled. Hey y'all, I just punch this down and roll it out to about a 1/4 inch thick, I believe. I cut as many circles out as I could and kept rolling out the dough. I turned my cast iron on after they rose for about 30 minutes, and here I forgot to put the cornmeal, so I quickly did that. These turned out good, y'all, but I'm not sure if they were rolled out thin enough or I just didn't let them rise after I cut them out, and you might want to cook them in oil. I ended up cooking some in oil, and then I finished cooking them in the oven because I didn't want to burn them. They weren't perfect, but they were good. Homemade bread is pretty good, y'all. Next time I will try cutting them thinner, well, rolling it out thinner and then cutting them, and I will try to let them rise longer. It's been pretty chilly in our location, so I have been struggling a hair with our bread. I just cover it and give it a little spritz to see if it'll rise better. But the breakfast sandwiches, y'all, incredible. Alright, y'all, here are the English muffins. I made them last night. We're going to use a couple of them to make some breakfast sandwiches. I'm gonna turn my flat top on here. Whoa. And then turn the heat down. You gotta turn it down really slowly or it'll just turn off. These knobs are very touchy. We're gonna make up some sausage, egg, cheese, and sausage sandwiches. Just like McDonald's, y'all. Cut this boy open. I just pulled it out of the freezer so it ain't completely defrosted, but it's enough to make some patties. We don't get fast food much, y'all. We love to cook at home. We love how the food tastes and makes us feel. But maybe on a road trip or something, on occasion, you go out. And I don't know about you, but I've had McDonald's before. I don't know somebody who hasn't. And I don't know, what do you get if you go there? Like if you don't go often. So we want a little breakfast sandwich. Just gonna patty these up. It's really sticky, so try to get them nice and flat so they're big enough for the sandwich, but also pretty thin. All right, we're gonna try this one. Nice. You squish them while keeping the sides pressed with your thumb. It kind of keeps them together, and rounded can keep the shape. Smells delicious. This cast iron flat top works really well on this double burner. This is pretty much all that's defrosted, which I can work with. And then I'll just bag that up, use it for a different breakfast. Thank you, Oni. Alright, I'm gonna scoop these over and push this one on. Awesome. Oh, so sticky. Alright, y'all, we'll let these cook up and then give them a flip. We've also been having coffee lately. I don't really like coffee. Trying to get up the crispers. Oh my goodness. Perfect. I don't know if these will be perfect, but probably don't want them too crispy. So good. This is good too. And I love using up stuff that we already have. It's the best. Nice coffee. Smell of breakfast cooking in the morning. Doesn't get much better than that. Waking up to the smell of bacon or sausage or something cooking downstairs. Man. These are finishing up here, y'all. Get this grease spread out. This back one feels really hot. It's coming right up. Wow. I'm going to turn these off for a minute. Alright, y'all, I got 2 cheeses out so they can start warming up. These look amazing. I will want that crispier one. Make sure this pan is pretty smooth before I put these eggs down. And we also want all this grease. I'm going to cook the eggs on this end because it's less hot. It's going to be traveling. Oh boy, she wants to go down the whole grill. At least it stopped. Then I'll put these back over here. It's hottest down here, probably because it's more in and less open over here. And I would have a breakfast sandwich every morning before school if I wasn't late. I loved it. I love a breakfast sandwich. And I like to fold the corners in so all the cheese doesn't melt off. I don't have much space to set it on the stove, but that's okay. Salt and pepper them. Alright, y'all, now these didn't turn out perfect, but they should be good. This is the largest one with the excess. I feel like I didn't let them rise long enough, and it's kind of like a English muffin biscuit or like a flat burger bun. See, it didn't rise much, so, or I just put way too much dough on each. Like I didn't roll it out thin enough. I didn't want them to be paper thin though. See, it's just like not very airy. I'm gonna go toast these in the air fryer for a second. All right, we're just gonna give these another second. This one actually is almost ready. Oh boy. One thing I don't like about this flat top is you might lose something. Gotta be careful. This one looks amazing. I'm gonna let these get warm on one side so I can put that cheese on there. I planned on making this one my egg, but that just solidified that. Because this one's very mobile. It's too hot down here. I'm just gonna cut it. Boom. I usually like to do that before I flip it, but I didn't. Alright. Put it on the hot side and then it might melt easier. These eggs will be done in just a second. I'm actually going to, oh perfect, these are how I'm going to assemble them as well. I'm going to dome it, y'all, so they can cook a second. Perfect. And I'm going to cut the heat. Alright, y'all, I pulled the English muffins out of the air fryer and they seem pretty good. This one's pretty good. I think I'll flip them. This one's still jiggly, so that means the yolk is not done. What we don't like is crisp. So my husband's is perfect. We don't like a crispy egg. Some people do, not us. See, I'm losing the cheese here. So we're going to put that down. OMG. It's always something, y'all. That fits beautifully on these. Perfect. Let's check these eggs. This one's pretty good. This one's also pretty good. You can feel if they're firm or like squishy and jiggly. Yep, they're both cooked. Perfect. And we'll crown the king. Boom. Now these ain't perfect, y'all, but they sure are cute. Alright, y'all, here we have it. Got cheese coming out of this one. Absolutely delicious. So excited to eat this. Losing my top here. I hope you guys enjoyed. I can't wait to eat. My family's hungry. If you enjoyed, consider subscribing, giving this video a like, and letting us know what you think down below. More to come and lessons to be learned. Hope you guys enjoyed. Bon appetit. See you guys soon.